Hello Cloudy crew and welcome back to the channel for our latest video, and a special mention to our members. Thank you very much for all your support and everything you do for us. We appreciate it tremendously. So we've all seen the GFN news that broke today about the new RTX 3080 specs with the new RTX 3080 tier. We've been breaking down in some small videos some little helpful tips and little bits for you to, just to understand maybe more of that, that big news that's really come out of GeForce Now today. So we've already done a video about where in the world GeForce Now is available, and we've also done one covering off you know, the membership and kind of breaking that down and explaining what's available in the membership tiers and what the costs are. So for today's one, if you've seen any of the other kind of content that we've put out for GFN Thursday, is about adaptive sync technology, a term that you will have heard used, throughout those announcements. So we're going to take a look at what does it actually mean, and quite frankly, what does it actually do for you. So I'm going to pull up this slide, which was very kindly provided by the guys at GeForce Now. So, in its simplest form, adaptive sync technology, as it says on this slide, it's going to give you the smoothest streams with lower latency. So, any stutters, it reduces those stutters, eliminates dropped frames or any repeated frames. Now, that all sounds great, but you probably are asking yourself, actually, I'm still not 100% sure what that means for me, or maybe how it works. So I'm going to give you a little bit more of a detailed, a detailed explanation. Now, if we stopped at smoothest streams with lower latency, as a gamer, we all know how important it is to see that frame rate and have everything play nice and smoothly and feel nice and responsive. So in essence, that's part of what this technology is actually going to contribute towards doing. But I want to explain to you in very basic terms how it works. So you'll see on this slide here, it talks about that server to client relationship. Okay, so for the purposes of what we're talking about today with GeForce Now, the server effectively are the services that are dotted around the 80 countries in the world that host the GFN services. Okay, where all your games are, all that sort of stuff. And then your client effectively is your Windows PC, your Mac, your phone, your NVIDIA Shield TV, whatever device it is you are playing. So that is the client. Now, obviously, in that relationship, that server client, when you start up GFN, you effectively are kind of submitting that, and you're kind of select what game you're going to play, you load that game, you submit a request to those servers, and that server then pushes all of that information from their cloud servers down to your client. So you're pulling down what they are pushing out from their services. With this adaptive sync technology, what it actually does is it recognizes the monitor, or, so for example, from a PC perspective, it monitors and understands the refresh rate that your monitor is capable of. And then what that then does is, when it has that little bit of communication, it then realizes and knows and understands that your monitor, let's say for argument's sake, is running at 144 hertz. So what that then does is it then syncs that between the GeForce Now cloud services and your monitor. Then, as it applies that adaptive sync technology, it then makes sure, as we see here from how it's captured kind of in the server frames and then the client frames, when you've got adaptive sync turned on, what is going on in the server then gets in sync with your actual refresh rate that is running on your monitor. So then from that perspective, what you then see is that headline at the top, a smooth stream with lower latency. Now, I'm very quickly going to talk about the latency. And if we look at it here, they've done a couple of examples just to showcase and compare where it is and what they've actually managed to achieve. So the feat that they've managed to achieve in terms of pushing out that higher frame rate, obviously the improved performance that the RTX 3080 is going to offer. When we now look at this latency, so the current priority and founder tier of GeForce Now, you're going to be running at a 2080 1080p at 60 frames per second. And what you're actually seeing here is that in that priority member level, the latency is 81 milliseconds. Now, to put that into comparison, your standard laptop is running at less than 30 frames per second, is 200 plus in terms of millisecond. xCloud was coming in when it was tested at 175. And then the Xbox Series X running at 60 frames per second is 93 milliseconds. So what you can see with the work that they've done in terms of upping the capabilities of the technology and putting in adaptive sync technology, they've managed to reduce it down, running at 1440 or up to 1440, I should say, at 120 frames per second. So not only have they pushed that resolution up, they've pushed that frame rate up, they've doubled it. What they've then done is, through the use of adaptive sync technology, they've been able to, lower that latency, which is absolutely incredible. So, adaptive sync technology, it is kind of pretty simple. The best way to think of it is that headline at the top. You're going to get the smoothest streams with the lower latency. And it's going to do it all by syncing between the GFN services and your monitor. It'll know, it'll understand what that frequency and that capable frame rate of your monitor, and it will sync. And then all of a sudden, you get buttery smooth gameplay, and you can do everything that you wish and enjoy. And it's great. You'll get the best possible experience. Thank you very much for watching today, guys. I hope you found it useful, and we will see you next time.